and get into this video. So again, everything we're going to do today is on the BitGet platform. Let's first start with XRP. Last week we were talking about a long, I guess I was looking at spot on BitGet. Here we go. So yeah, see, I was talking about a long here. I said that you could potentially long here, but I'd like to see, I even said really to go below this, but I'd like to see another low on divergence. What did we get here? Lower low and double bottom on RSI. This is the divergence that you're looking for. We got the oops, I like to use yellow to show divergence. We got the green from the I don't usually take these colors into account, to be quite honest with you, but the green obviously means buy. The lighter green, the brighter green. It's pretty obvious what those things mean, right? On the CM Moody Ultimate RSI. So yeah, CM Chris Moody, not CM Moody. We were talking about along here, and I think that idea has worked out pretty well, huh? So, but now the way that it is worked out, as opposed to being, remember, we always do this, and if you go back, and we'll put the link in the description as well, how to trade this theory in 10 minutes. We're gonna be conservative because wave 3s are extended, whereas C's typically are not when we do our labeling. But now it's pretty obvious to see that since then this is actually more setting up. So we like to call these 3C trades, and they're the best trades you can fucking do. So stick with me and I'll teach you how to do those and make money. You got to stay with me though. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're still working on a third. Potentially it could be in, you never know with XRP because it doesn't ever subdivide perfectly, but 1, 2, it could even be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Like it could be, well, I mean, this is XRP here, but we'll just go ahead and throw that 3 there. Something like this could be potentially setting up. So right now, XRP, long bias, boys, long bias. So what sets up now? Now, if we're just long bias, we've developed our long bias out here on the 1 hour. Let's go ahead and see where a potential to get back in would be. All right, so clearly we're going to have some algo money on our side. This thing likes to get deep though. So let's see if we can run a series on this or not. That one stopped. Okay, there we go. There's one. All right, so, and we'll go ahead and we'll leave first target only. Remember, this is first target. There's 3 targets to go, and I'm even going to hide the levels. If you don't know what I'm doing here, there's plenty of educational material for you to check out on that. So blast through, check extension, that would be stopped. So now we'll go back to base pull. Right there. We don't have a lot of reaction. I'm not loving the algos. Not loving what the algos are giving us here. Let's get in on the 15. But what I do love is this. Impulse. You got to be careful because, again, this is XRP. You have to know your market. But from the looks of things, I'd like to see potentially another shove down here. Let's go ahead and clear this chart here, and then pull this. Get down to the 5. All right. Let's see. So this is looking corrective, right? So this gives us a potential opportunity for this to knife down, even at a 786 on this chart. Look for that divergence that we talk about. Although it's looking like it probably won't set up on this 5-minute. And this could really just be a sneaky, see, it's not like that. It's, you have to watch it. Again, you need to see how these things play out in real time, especially with this chart. You never just want to set your orders and walk away from it. It needs to show up for you. But the idea here is long bias, and trader's choice. You're gonna have to figure out how to get into it. But I would say you're looking at a potential for something like let's just leave that one pretty. Let's say we're gonna cast a fairly wide net on that, and we're gonna target 1-to-1. So we're going to go here, cast a fairly wide net, adjust that. Yeah, you're looking about close to a 5-to-1 potential on that, and you can tighten this up if you just keep an eye on it. All right, so let's go ahead and just flip this over to ETH. So I want to talk about the trade. This is a larger degree trade that I highlighted in Thursday's video. So we'll go ahead and throw this on the 4-hour and see how we're shaping up so far. So at the time, I think we were at like 12.25, and I said the trade that I would recommend to you all in that case, simply because, you know, we see the potential for a completed pattern here, the most powerful part of this theory, right? Okay, so we see the potential for a completed pattern, and it was literally at the low. You know, it was literally in the area of this low down here. Oops, I messed that up. In the area of this low, completed potential zigzag, and it was in the area of this low. And I said at the time that I would potentially try to, you know, tighten up my entry and maybe look for another lower low, but that's not what I would recommend. I recommend that you just would enter at that time and put your stop. Because we were, let's just go ahead and show where we were. See, this one got through the 65. I don't think it did on Coinbase or whatever that was, but really we were in this area of this low parallel, which is what is more important, right? So you know, and different exchanges will have different things. This is we're on BitGet here, and really especially with the fibs, you'll get a little bit difference here, a little bit difference there between exchanges. Anyway, when we're looking at Elliottwave, the most important thing is not Fibonacci. Even though if you look on Twitter and whatever trading Discord you're in, you probably believe the fibs are the most important thing. They're like really not even close. Anyway, I said at the time, I think we were 12.25. It was a different exchange again, but and I said you would target simply probably the 1-to-1, even though I think I was more conservative. Well, let's even be more conservative, and that you would basically set that. I think it was a 65, but it was around 22. But really, honestly, your primary target is way up here, and of course, because we were on Coinbase, which you would think sort of can dictate the market from an algo perspective. Yeah, we'll even just tick this down a hair, even though it's through the 65 here, but based on Coinbase not being potentially, we could go back and check it, but not going to do that now. Anyway, the risk to reward, like I said, was extremely high. And then what I suggested that you would do is, if you get a move in your direction, because it's a little uncertain, you know, we're getting deep, this isn't exactly the cleanest impulse, you know, you could, once you get price going in your direction, and we were, again, let's just mark it off. We were literally right here in that video. So now that we've had this move, and it does look fairly three-wave off that, but then you get an impulse low and it's about to break that. Now we don't have to be, you know, we don't have to be super concerned about that. Like right now, we could, you know, if you want, you can leave your primary stop, you know, and you have that huge risk to reward factor you're looking for. But if you're like nervous about it, go ahead, just move it up. Like, you're new here, right? You don't have to. And you can always, again, if this is going to play out, you got time to get back in. Like I had told you in the last video that I'm going to trade in and out of it. Usually what I would do, even though typically you buy here and you just add on strength, you're going to make the most money, right? But if you are a nervous Nelly, go ahead and move your stop up right there. So now your entry is here, your stop is in profit. Or if you're less nervous Nelly, but you're a little bit of a nervous Nelly, go ahead and move your stop just above your entry so that, you know, your fees are covered. Free trade. You're in a free trade right now. You know, if you're learning how to trade, you know, if you're a professional trader, this isn't the move, right? But you're learning how to trade. If you put yourself, and if you always consider capital preservation as your primary goal, you will do well. So right now, this should be a small winner, locked in, or let's say break even. with the potential to be a home fucking run. Like a trade like this can make your year. Not even, you know. So, you know, everybody's account is different. So, but let's just say you had, quickly, let's just say you had, I don't know, what's a fair number? Let's just say you were risking $200. That's, I hate to, because this, I hate doing this because $200 to one man is nothing the same to another man. But, you know, maybe it's 20,000 is to me, or I should say 20,000 to you is like, is as important to you as 200 is to me. You know, we'll put myself on the lower side of that. But this is irrelevant, and you shouldn't think about trading in terms of this much money. You should think in terms of percentages, because if you're not a millionaire, man, you didn't start there. You don't have $1 million account. If you got a $100 account, $1,000 account, $10,000 account, you should think about your percentage gains. But we're not going to do that for this moment. We're just going to say $200. You risk $200, and what did I say? So if you lose 200 times 27 to win it, like that should be, what's that? 7 and 7 is 14. So 40 is 54. $5,400. Risk 200, make $5,400. You know, what did you just do to your account size there? So anyway, moving on. This is the type of trade, like I said, and the way I showed you to do it. Stick with me. You know, worst case now, this is still a low probability event. Not low probability, but this is the shooting for the moon here, right? But right now, you have a free trade or small winner. Nuts. And especially if you made it as tight as I showed you, this small winner is not that, it's, you know, close to $200. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. This trade's setting up. I'm not going to show about it anymore. It does look corrective off the low. That's for sure. So I would be nervous about it, although this move looks impulsive. So let's just zoom in real quick. Talk about that. So this looks like a three-wave move, especially the way this came down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This certainly looks impulsive, unless this is a C wave, some sort of three, or, you know, A, B, C, and then we're going down. Like this is, that wouldn't make sense. Although even if that were to happen, it would be, that would still set you up for like an A, B, and a C to the upside. So I mean, even if you have more sideways fuckery, I think you have another up leg to play with. And that's why I was going to say, is basically like, and this is not an adequate correction. So I do think even though we could have some more sideways within here, the ultimate, you know, near term expectation is, you know, another leg up, at least to something like that. And again, if your risk was, you know, for, let's just say this much move or whatever it was, let's even say it was like, I can't remember what we showed you. You gotta go back and watch the Thursday video. Let's say it was that much move for 200 risk, right? So, oops. If you move it here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I mean, so there you go. All right, let's move it on. All right, quick pause there. Let's see. Let's move on to the next one. So next we have, we'll just go to ADA. So last week we had said that we were looking, I remember, I think this one I said that ideally the short was up here, but you could be looking for a recapture of the short. These are less ideal. I like to be at the main pivot of the trade. We were looking for a potential corrective move in this area, and we got it. It didn't, obviously, it never works out exactly what you draw, right? But this was perfect. Look at the retest. I mean, I didn't come in here and touch this chart. Look at the retest. This was your trade, and then boom, there was your trade. Excuse me, there was your trade, right? So if we just draw this here, look at that. 50, negative 236, target 1. This was an easy setup to identify. And then look at all this confluence that we had on the chart that it also matched up to. So you would have known to be out here, right? This was an easy catch and pitch trade. And now this looks like a mess. Let's get down to 15. I'll be honest. I don't like anything right now, but you know, I don't love anything right now, but potential short right now would be decent. And look, we still had this purple level down here. I think that might have been a target potentially down here. You know, let's get back out to the 1 hour. So I think that, you know, if we break through here, really we're expecting to get back down here. But remember that bigger trade that I said would have been ideal to get in at? This is the target for that. So we kind of have that larger degree target there. All right, sorry about that. Another quick pause, using the pause feature today. I never used that in the past. I think I'm gonna utilize it more because usually I just stop the damn video. Anyway, and when you're watching your kids, bro. All right, let's see. So yeah, this is, if anything, this is, and it's already going more in your favor now. So we'll see when I upload this. I'll upload it as soon as it gets to, you know, HD res on YouTube. But this could still be potentially setting up. And if it goes up and makes another higher high, and here, look at that divergence. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I wouldn't necessarily want to see another one. Like this is a short leg here, which kind of is good for the trade, but I almost would want to see another push up, but continue to remain below this pivot high. Could break this. I don't really want to, but you know, again, as always, you're gonna have to watch it, trader's choice. But let's just say it did sneak back up to the GP. At that point, you're really feeling nervous. So I would even say take like a quarter of a normal position size. This is just something I would do. Again, you know, this isn't financial advice in any way, shape, or form. But if it does push back up there on even more divergence, you know, I told you guys, go back. This is like advanced, right? So to be able to try to time these, you start to practice this. You're probably gonna not do well if you give yourself this sort of risk to reward, unless you sort of let's say practice with somebody that knows what they're doing. So for normal, this is what I would be looking for, but I just can't recommend it. So really, you're gonna have to like probably go something like that. But still, you really want to be 3-to-1 based on that video. Remember and I'm going to put the link in the description, how to trade this theory in 10 minutes. This is a little less than that. So maybe it's not the best trade. Unless you were to say, go like that. But I think at that point, it's not worth it. You have a decent chance of getting stopped out. If you can't necessarily read the tea leaves, it's not going to get there. So maybe in these public videos, I need to stop. And I even said I wasn't going to show shit like this, but that's the kind of like what I would be looking for. If, you know, and I'll be really picky. I don't day trade. I have a really good job, make plenty of money, but, you know, so my trading profits are like, you know, pool fund, diamonds for the wife, pay off cars. That's the shit I do with my trading money. So it's different. Like, you're not talking to a air quote professional here. But guess what? How many of you are professionals? How many of you are going to be professionals? Like, this is probably the model of what you want to do, right? So maybe I'm the guy. And of course, you know, I do professionally teach this, right? And have for 5 years. But who has one job? Especially when you're already making. Anyway. So yeah. Maybe I won't show these on these public videos anymore. Well, tell me what you think about that. I mean, do you want me? I mean, I know you guys do. I know you guys are going to want me to show you how to like really do this. And if I see them in real time, maybe I will show you. Like honestly, with the ETH trade, that was kind of one in real time that you could tighten up and do well. So, but for this case, don't do that. I will not recommend that tight, but that's what I would be looking for personally. And I know we've been on this tangent too long, but it started because, like I said, I don't feel forced to take trades. If I did, I wouldn't maybe try to pick the peg as much, but you know, if my reward, again, because of my personal circumstance, I just try to hit those home runs personally. Okay. All right. Let's move on from here. Again, the bias again from this trade down here. This was a easy pitch and catch trade to this level. Less certain here. This is not something I would recommend personally, but I would, if I really wanted to trade this, I would watch it and look for this short. If not, honestly, enter now. Like if you guys were on this and saw this reaction, you see how you see that reaction? Let's just talk about it from this perspective real quick, because you're obviously not going to see this in time. We had declining volume on the high side. We have the reaction to there. We don't have any volume follow through on the downside yet, which just means that's our opportunity to potentially get in. You know, maybe, honestly, if I saw this setting up, I just go ahead and I wanted to be safe. I just go ahead and enter now. And at that point, do this. See, that's too big. So what you would need to do is get way down here. One, two, three, four, five. This might only just be, honestly, yeah. It's just not there right now. It's just not there right now. I mean, it could be. Like, this is probably going to follow through to the downside, but there's a pretty decent chance. Like, I'd say a high degree of chance that, and it's already doing it, coming down to here. But this could easily just be, you know, oops, A, B, C, something like that. And if that happens, yeah, you're gonna break the 65. So if you try to like tighten up to the 65, do what I try to do, you're gonna lose money. Oh, but I only risk 1% of my account. 1%'s pretty high, bro. You get chopped up doing that dumb shit. Doesn't take that, especially trying to overtrade. Doesn't take that many trades to turn 1% into, that 1% number just keeps, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And of course, you're going to revenge trade. I really do suggest you get some coaching on this stuff, to be honest. But, or, you can go through, the pains like a lot of people do, and 99% of them fail out. I don't know the percentage of successful traders that had mentors, but I would imagine that number is probably well over 90% of successful traders have mentors. So whether it's me or somebody else, I do suggest you look for a coach. But I suggest me, if that is your, how I described what I do is what you see yourself doing. I have a job. I have side hustles, investments, kids, wife, high paying job. This is fun money. I take a vacation with trading profits. Look, it's already going down into here. And I really do think, based on this, that there's a pretty decent chance that this is just an A and we're working on B. Anyway, so I don't think trade here. All right, let's go. BNB. So this week, I said I don't remember what I said about this last week. I said that I thought that it could turn up to here, but I think I said it was kind of setting up like XRP, but not as nice. And I said I didn't think I liked it. I think I also said that something like this would be a short area to look for. I don't necessarily know that I was showing the long, although I probably was. I don't think I recommended anything on this. You can remind me in the comments. I don't remember. Finished down on 3. This is 5. New low. So that's like a C. B, C. Yeah, I think this is probably something like, A, B, C, W, X, oops. Whether it's A, B, C, W, X, Y, I don't care. You're already halfway through the potential move. Maybe you look for a short, potentially around this area again. Or a long if it breaks out and a good retrace with a corrective move to the downside. Could see something like this. If this is clearly impulsive, which it already shows that it's not going to be, again, if you see that clearly impulsive, even though we know it could be a CO flat, we keep that in mind, but we see this show up as a perfect zigzag, you could take a potential long, but I'm short bias. I don't like anything right now. I'd be looking for shorting, that this is showing me signs that it's ready to be shorted once it gets up to these sort of this neighborhood. And this could easily turn into a triangle or something stupid like that, but nothing on BNB right now. That XRP, though, that was a nice one. And this ETH was very nice as well. Link. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3. And then I think last week we said that maybe this was, I think this was another one where we said that ideally you get in around here and your target is down here, just like, what was that, the 88 chart. And then but you could be looking for a reason to get into it. Although from what we've seen since this, we were probably talking about re-entry on this, and that wouldn't have worked out. Although you're right up to the channel here. Yeah, I think I was probably short bias. I don't think I was long bias. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was short. It didn't set up well. It would have worked out, right? Obviously, we had another 3C off of it, but you know, I don't know that what this looks like here would have made it a nice trade. If you were, yeah, I mean, it would have worked out if you used the invalidation as your stop loss, which of course invalidation is the safest way, but it's also doesn't give you much room for risk to reward. If we're targeting minimum 3-to-1 R to R, you know, this doesn't really, you know, depending on where you would potentially entered, it didn't seem to set up a good at this degree. We're at the 4 hours still. Let's get down to, we do one. It didn't really offer a great, it never really offered you a great opportunity, to be quite honest. But, you know, had you entered, let's see, had you entered in the golden corner pocket, gave yourself invalidation at, or stop loss at invalidation, would that even have given you 3-to-1? No, it's less than 3. So really, I mean, it just wasn't, it's, you know, these happen all the time, right? Again, there's no reason not to be selective. It never set up properly, but it did give you that 3C, right? And these are the ones where you'd be like, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have coach, you're like, ah, damn it, it did exactly what I wanted, but it stopped me out. It's like, yeah, but this didn't give you what you wanted. This is the most important fucking part, okay? All right, anyway. I hear that all the time. Oh, you know, it just nicked me out, and then it went and did exactly what I wanted. Well, it nicked you out because you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, right? And neither do I sometimes, right? We all do it. But what do we have now? Kind of looks like we have a potential that this is a finishing zigzag. Oh, breaking out. Okay, so I wouldn't want to necessarily be short here unless I broke back through here and maybe an impulse to the downside at the lower, you know, it's down here on the 5. Broke out of the base trend. If we get an impulse to the downside through to the upside, I would short it. But since the fact that we're out of this base trend doesn't really meet the criteria for a quality short position, even though we are coming up to an area that has proven to, well, we came up to an area that has proven to be tested and rejecting price. However, the more times you test it, eventually it's going to break. And then when it does, it pops the fuck off. So I would want to see this one go in my direction before I enter it. And if it's a 3 in play, you know, 3 targets right up here to this golden corner pocket, breaks out of here and you find a potential to get into it, I'd look to long to this area, exit, and then maybe you could have a 5th wave trade coming out of that. Of course, you might be on the lookout for extended C waves. I don't see a lot of extended C's in this market, so, but it does look like we got C's that are sort of a little alternate to what you would expect. This one broke, see, this one broke out, came back in, but see how it came back and then it offered you this corrective entry. So that's exactly what I'd be looking for on a smaller degree over here, something like this. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, impulse down, corrective off, exactly what I'm talking about. So really use this if you're trading a link, and this is another one that's tough to trade Elliottwave, and that's why we use all these other tools, but it gave you a perfect Elliottwave trade here. And that's exactly, I didn't even, honestly, had no idea that this had just happened over here, but that's exactly what I was talking about doing over here at a smaller degree. So there's link. Did we talk about this already? I think we did. Yeah, we did. Let's go to Sol. Oops. And then, of course, I was probably on spot last week on the Bitget platform that is growing on me. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this one, you never got your entry parameter, right? It went down. The idea was right, but you never got your entry parameter. And then you did have a clear long out of that. We won't get into that because that's not sort of the simple little 3C that I'm trying to teach you guys. the simple yet literally the most powerful and only trade you need to know. This looks a lot like that link though, except for it's contained in the base. Pull this down. Ooh, right to the 50. Ooh. We don't have the multi-pivot divergence, but this is kind of juice. Yeah, no multi-pivot, multi-time frame. But we have the divergence here. Shit, I would be looking for, I don't want to get into it. I've shown you guys on all these, the smallest, the lower degree, but look at that. Impulse potentially setting up off the high. I'd be looking for my excuse to short this. You're at the 50, clear target right there. Let's just say you did the 50, and I wouldn't recommend this for you guys. I was recommending these. So maybe it pushes up to here, and this is where I would recommend you guys to take it. Something like that. Boom, 5 to 1. That's what I would want for you guys, but you know, now is where I would personally, you know, if I wanted to do a hands off, but 2.51 risk to reward is kind of shit. So, you know, for what I would recommend for you guys, I would want to see it dying up into the 61.8 or 61.8 here, and then set something like this up. You know, if you took it to the 50 here, you could go after the 65, but I mean, that's just a way to get chopped the fuck up. Although this would be potentially, even for you guys, one of the cases where I would say, sure, do this, but you would have to be able to properly identify this. So I'd hate to tell you to do this. I need the coffee. Long video. But that's, you know, that's what that's, you know, it's kind of juice right now. Again, I don't know why I'm teaching bad habits. But let's say if you did take it, if you're going to put your stop line to 65, not financial advice, I would just say, before you learn what you're doing. By the way, 1% is way too high for a risk. It is. And again, come join us, and we got videos about risk to reward, all that shit. We got, you know, and there's more content always down the pipe, educational. So, but one is really high. But let's just say if that's what you did, I don't, you know, a lot of guys tell me, oh, I only do 1%. That's always so funny to me. But let's just say whatever your risk tolerance is, if you're going to like try to be putting the stop behind the 65, because I know a lot of people try to recommend you do that, size down. 1/4 of a typical loss, 1/3 of a typical loss. Just practice it. So maybe you could potentially do something like that right now, because this is one of those times that it's kind of beautiful, but you have to be able to properly identify this. And you know, I'm not trying to sell you short, but I've been doing this for a while. So what is easy for me may not be necessarily easy for everyone else. And it may be the way I describe it. It seems easy, and it is, but you gotta put the work in to get there. So this is actually setting up nice for another short as well. Let's go briefly back to XRP, which has been super, because I think we had said, yeah, so, and it already has, yeah, so we were saying that this is potentially a 1-2-1-2, well, what, not potentially, 1-2-1-2, 3, 4, like, so this one is going to be, you know, I'm just looking to see, you know, I said you're looking for reasons to get long. This one is probably going to be fucking about for a bit, but, you know, come back down to test this low. So the rest of these trade ideas that we just gave really don't conflict with the idea here. And then again on ETH, we're sort of at a larger degree perspective, and we're setting, you know, we're either leaving our full risk on at the, you know, tight stop that we talked about on Thursday, or we're at a free trade already. So this was the wrong chart. This is spot again, but anyway, we're at a free trade. So I think that all of these are pretty confluent in their idea. Everything else is lower degree. The ETH is higher degree. So, you know, you have to be able to understand degree of trend, and I've got content on that. educational content, that, you know, degree of trend, understanding when things are finished. These are the things that lead you to success with Elliott Wave. Everything that I see on Twitter, everything that I see Elliott related in Twitter does not, what I see, and I don't really pay attention, to be honest. You can look and see how many people I follow, is not showing you how to use this theory to trade profitably. And you see a lot of guys complain, Elliott Wave, you can't trade that. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You think you do. Anyway, all right. This was a weird video. Talking about weird things, showing weird things, but I like it. Tell me if you liked it. This is a little bit kind of different content, and it's long. All right, boys, dude out.